happening with your favorite KFAN program? Make your voice heard on the Bradshaw and Bryant text line. Let us know what you have to say by texting your message to 64686. That's 64686. Standard message and data rates apply.
My lovely white potato could really rattle the pots and pans. Came up with a new, I don't know if people like tater tot hot dish or not.
Oh, yeah. Elite.
She found a new recipe where the beef is spiced differently and it's got a nice little bite to it. It's not just the regular ground beef taste. This is so good. I wish I had something to share with you.
I wish you did too.
But here's what I tell you, Max. This is what I tell people all the time. Once I'm on the air and on the road, I get stingy with my provisions. I just do. So there wasn't much left because I ate so much of it last night. Before we get into 534, and we'll take that to about stations all on the closed circuit, the stations all across the Common Man Radio Network. We'll break early for the 1:15 break, a little earlier than we normally do because we're never sure when KOC will start his news conference. Probably late, I think. Probably welcoming Danny Jones to town, but we'll break a little early, and then we'll carry that. We're not going to go deep into the KOC news conference. After he talks about Danny Jones and the injury report, we'll probably move on because we've got Rock Talk with Brian Oak, who is in the house. And before we get to 534, I just want to ask you, are you Team Lamar or Team Drake?
I'm definitely Team Drake.
Okay.
Or not Team Drake, Team Kendrick.
You're on Team Kendrick?
I'm Team Kendrick. Team Kendrick Lamar, absolutely.
Okay, very good. We'll talk about that with Brian Oak when we do it. But right now it's time for 534.
Time now for 5
I think
questions.
I'm Team Drake.
You're Team Drake?
Actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4. Question number 1.
We got our Thanksgiving Day slate of NFL games, including the Bears and the Lions to start us off, and the Dolphins and the Packers for the nightcap. But in between, it is Giants Cowboys, and I believe that is Tommy DeVito versus Cooper Rush. It's a question that people ask pretty much every year, Common, but I'm curious on your thoughts considering that one of your squads is one of these Thanksgiving kind of legacy franchises. Do you think that the NFL should move on from always having Lions, Packers, Cowboys, that type of mix on Thanksgiving, particularly the Cowboys as of late? Do you think that the NFL
It's always been Cowboys in Detroit because there was just 2, and now they've added a third where they blend the teams on the third game to allow other teams. Because I think that's what the NFL decided. For one, there's a voracious appetite not only for turkey and stuffing, but they're on Thanksgiving, but there's a voracious appetite for football. So they heard the complaints. Detroit was the one that first started that tradition, and I think the league, sometimes we as sports fans or just people in general, do we put too much in traditions? Like for Thanksgiving, it's always turkey. No, it doesn't have to be turkey. I know there are people that'll have roast beef. Yeah. There are other people that'll have swordfish, like Mark Rosen, right? So they'll do different things depending upon, they don't always have to follow tradition. I do, because the kiddies are my club. I do like watching them on Thanksgiving. I do think it's fun. I don't, if they decided, you know what, we're going to stop the Thanksgiving Day tradition of Dallas and Detroit hosting games, and we're going to spread the love, I don't care if they do that. But I think that's why they added that third game, because now the third game, what is it? It's Green Bay and Miami. Yep. Those are 2 teams that would never do it. Now, next year, it'll be Ravens versus Patriots or whatever. So, if they decide, I could see why if you were, especially when, now the Dallas and Giants, that'll probably actually be a competitive game just because they're both lousy.
Right.
But, Detroit, I remember people would always say this too. They have bad memories. They would always go, Detroit always plays well on Thanksgiving. No, they don't. I've watched every Detroit Lions Thanksgiving Day game. They lose more than they win on Thanksgiving. But, yeah, especially when the Lions were bad, it's like, well, give me a matchup. And you can't always predict. That's why they flex games. That's why Thursday nights and Monday, and sometimes it's not always a really good game, right? But I wouldn't mind if they changed it up, but I do like my kiddies on Thanksgiving. I do enjoy it.
Question number 2.
Moving over to baseball, curiously, there was a story that broke yesterday that the L.A. Dodgers added superstar pitcher, or at least former superstar pitcher, Blake Snell. They gave him a $100 million plus deal, 182 to be exact. That's 5 contracts now the Dodgers have handed out over $100 million, which is since 2023. The rest of baseball is tied. Altogether, all the other, 29 teams have given out $500 million plus contracts. The Dodgers have given out 5 themselves. And it's got a lot of people, and they're doing the deferred money thing again like they did with Shohei Ohtani. It's got a lot of people calling for... A lot of people calling for a salary cap in baseball. Do you believe that there should be a salary cap
and a salary floor? Because there are a lot of teams that will spend the minimum. They don't have a minimum, so they'll just spend they'll have just basically rock bottom contracts and spend $30 million on salary. So there are people that think there should be a salary floor and a salary cap.
Speaking of traditions, baseball having no
or eating lunch
during the 1 o'clock out.
In a perfect world, they probably should have a salary cap and a salary floor. They don't. The owners in Major League Baseball apparently don't want it, nor do the players, because they would have changed. I think they like it this way. So, you can wish in one hand and you know what else. So it's I don't think it's ever going to change. Maybe someday it will. I would suppose if viewership and attendance started to plummet and Major League Baseball was able to connect the dots and say it's because there are the haves and the have-nots, the larger markets have the much bigger local broadcast packages. They make so much more money that we have to put an end to this. Otherwise, our fans are going to continue to stay away in droves. That apparently hasn't happened yet. I've always countered with every one of these owners is a billionaire. They got the money. They want to spend it. I've said this before. When you compare what 1 million is to 1 billion, there's a big difference. 1 million is I have it somewhere. It's 1 billion seconds is 32 years. 1 million seconds is 12 days. That's how much money there is. So to feel sorry for the smaller market teams, I don't buy it. I'm sorry. But what I will say is I implored the Twins to sign Blake Snell last year at the beginning of the season, during free agency. Said, if you're not going to sign, well, first of all, they should have just kept Sonny Gray.
Right.
They decided after. I said, well, then you got to go out and get Blake Snell. I was mocked and ridiculed, especially after Snell got off to a terrible start. He was awful at the beginning of the season. He was the best pitcher in Major League Baseball in the second half. He got his no-hitter. Now, he's not an innings-eating kind of a guy. He never does. Matter of fact, that was his no-hitter last year was his first ever complete game. He threw 113, 114 pitches. When he's on, there's nobody better. He's won 2 Cy Youngs with limited innings just because he's so devastating. He strikes people out. They have those sabermetrics and analytics that they have. Nobody hits the ball hard on him. He gets strikeouts compared to walks. This whole thing. He's just a dominant pitcher. Could have got him for $30 million last year. That's what they could have got him for. And people say, well, he would never come to the Twins. Well, he went to San Francisco. San Francisco ain't even better than Minnesota,
right? As
far as quality of team. They could have gotten him for that, and now they would have him. Because I think it was San Francisco. It was a 2-year deal, I thought. So we had him the year before, and then this year, I think, or maybe it was just the 1 year. Regardless, but the Twins didn't want to do that. They could have Blake Snell right now in the fold. And think about think about this. The Twins collapsed in the second half last year. Totally collapsed. What if they had Blake Snell on, who had the best second half of any pitcher in baseball? I wonder if that changes it. I don't know. A lot of it was offense with us. It wasn't even always pitching. Sometimes the pitching didn't fail, but our offense became abysmal at the end of the year. But
they only needed a couple more wins, right? So you have to imagine having Blake Snell, you would have got at least 3, 4, or 5 more wins.
That's exactly right. And you know what? If your offense is abysmal, what's the best way to cure that? Have a great pitcher.
Right.
That limits the other team, but it just didn't happen. That's 534. Thanks, Max. We'll take a break. We'll come back eventually. KOC, whether it's right when we come back, we could join them in progress, or we might have to do our best Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers and do a little tap dancing. But the coach is next here on The Fan.
KFAN and the Minnesota Vikings will be live live from Shields in Eden Prairie next Tuesday for our annual Toys for Tots broadcast presented by Unreal. We'll be collecting donations for Toys for Tots from 5:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m., and we need your help. You'll have the chance to enter to win great Vikings prizes, all while seeing your favorite shows live. First 50 donations each show will receive an Unreal KFAN winter beanie. KFAN.com keyword toys to get all of the details.
It'd be a couple of 13-14 pastime common. Phil and Fuller, Max Fro here. As Tenneby is out today, I think Tenneby will make his triumphant return on Monday. Brian Oak is in the house. He'll join us at about 1:30 or so for another edition of Rock Talk. Mark Rosen and Deuce. Deuce said he is on his way. I love nepotism. I think it's wonderful. I love Bronny playing with LeBron, and I love Deuce being on the radio with me, whether you like it or not. That's the way it goes. You see what Chuck Barkley had to say? You know, Chuck never holds anything back. Right?
Did he call LeBron a bum or something like that?
Well, I don't know if he called him a bum. I don't know if maybe he did. I don't know if I saw that story. The one I was referring to was he was kind of critical of the way, and I saved the story here. I'll find it for you. Headline reads on a CBS Sports Stories, Chuck Barkley blasts Lakers plan for Bronny James. It's stupid. It's not fair to him. Story reads as follows, says the LA Lakers' decision to draft Bronny James, the oldest son of Lakers superstar LeBron James with the 55th pick, raised eyebrows and drew criticism in the moment. With the season now fully in swing, the team's handling of Bronny is drawing a new sort of criticism. Lakers recently made the decision to have James play for the team's G League affiliate, the South Bay Lakers, but for home games only. When South Bay hits the road, James is called back up to the NBA roster. NBA legend and Hall of Famer Chuck Barkley had some pointed criticism of the Lakers' plan, saying the situation was unfair to everyone from James to his teammates to the coaching staff. Here's what Chuck says. The kid is not ready to play in the NBA. He should be in the G League so we can play basketball. And also, this thing where he's only going to play home games, it's stupid. It's not fair to him. It's not fair to the team. Can you imagine the coach of that team? You come off a road trip and you have a player you haven't seen in a week or two, then you probably feel like you got to play him. I don't think they're doing Bronny any favors. They have just handled this thing very bad. It's a bad look for the Lakers. I really like everything LeBron has done, but it's a bad look for him too, in my opinion. I like Chuck. I really do. I like that show is going to continue to live on now. They cut a deal with ESPN. ESPN was brilliant. They traded some ratchet Big 12 games to TNT to get the rights to the show. It was a stroke of genius on ESPN's part. There's a little bit more. Yeah, there's a little bit more to it than that, but it was just a brilliant decision on ESPN did they struck quick, and they've got, because that show is good. I've said this a million times. I think other people feel the same way. I'd rather listen to Shaq, Kenny, the Jet, Chuck, and what's host's name? Ernie talk basketball than I'd rather watch basketball. I really would. If you said, you want to watch a game or do you want to listen to those guys? I said, I'd rather listen to those guys talk basketball because they're funny, right?
Right. I'd listen to them talk about anything.
Well,
politics,
right. Yeah,
if they had a show.
It's really good. So, and I kind of tend to agree with him here. This does seem odd. I mean, I think we all know. Oh, here's a head coach, Kevin O'Connell. Hello, Coach.
All right. Might not get a chance to talk to all you guys tomorrow. I want to wish everybody happy Thanksgiving and appreciate you guys being out today. Arizona Cardinals coming to town. We've been looking forward to. We knew the 3-game road stretch would be a unique challenge in itself, and to come back here having won all 3 of those, it's just on to the next. But we are excited to get back home in front of our home fans. Got a good football team coming in. I think Jonathan, really, when you turn on the tape, really well-coached team in all 3 phases. They're doing a really good job, and we're gonna have to play really well. We're gonna need our fans, and getting back to US Bank Stadium is we've been looking forward to this for a while. So, very much excited about that, as well as excited about the possibility of adding Daniel Jones to our organization. Still kind of working through the final details on that and some roster maneuvering and things, but we're anticipating Daniel to arrive Friday morning, and very much looking forward to that. Good addition to our quarterback room. I love our quarterback room already. I think Sam Darnold has, had a fantastic year so far. He has, been everything that, I had personally hoped and then some when we brought him in here back in the spring. And I'm just so proud of the way he's worked, and I'm so proud of Sam for, what he's been able to do coming into this building and really take our group to being a major force behind us being 9-2. Nick Mullins clearly, I've big fan of Nick, and I think that's on display when I call some of those plays on what it seems like Nick's only allowed to come in the game on third down and throw the ball to Aaron Jones for conversions, but it goes back beyond that. He's true pro. What he's been able to do even last year, moving our football team and really showing the true professionalism of a guy constantly being ready to roll. I think Brett Rippon has done a lot of really good things since he's come in here. Smart, true pro's pro, and I think I gave him my third or fourth Look Team Player of the Week award this morning. So he's had a positive impact, and then clearly J.J. McCarthy with where he was at when he did get injured. My excitement level has never been higher for J.J. and what he's going to be for this organization, and he's doing a great job right now with his rehab, really turning the corner and being a major part of quarterback meetings, and the time I get with him is always a real blessing and a great thing for me personally. So I love being around him. And Daniel will add, hopefully, Friday morning we'll add Daniel into the mix. And, I talked a little bit the other day after Kevin's question, where I've always been a fan, love, really like the person, the human being, the makeup, and then the player, Daniel Jones. I think there's so much out in front of him that are going to be really good things that we get to personally be a part of, and I can't wait to work with him.
If and when that does go finalized, how do you weigh bringing him in as a short-term insurance or potential as opposed to what it could lead to maybe down the road as early as next year?
Yeah, I don't think we need to think about that, at this time. I'm just excited to get him here. I think there's a short-term and a long-term conversations that are going on at every position on our roster, and that's what Kwesi and his group and Rob and everybody upstairs do a great job of, always being really diligent with that side of it, but also, the player development side and the quarterback development side is something that is a huge passion of mine, and I just love getting opportunities to work with guys no matter what point in their quarterback journey they're at. I think we've got great guys upstairs to in that room with Josh and Grant, Wes, our entire offense, and really our system is built to hopefully try to help guys, realize their truest potential. And simple as that. And I think Daniel's going to be a positive addition to our culture and our building, and I look forward to getting him here.
Kevin, did he choose you, or did you choose him to come together?
Yeah, he was a free agent, so I got a chance to talk to him for the first time Monday night, and when he when he cleared not being claimed by another team, and I know he had a lot of interest, and rightly so. But yeah, Daniel chose to come here, and had some great dialogue with him over the past couple days, and was really excited when he called and told me he was coming.
How long would it take him to know an offense?
2019 process when you're in Washington going through the draft process as you guys getting ready to draft him. What kind of interactions did you have with Daniel?
Yeah, we, I went to his pro day, spent some time with him there, spent some time with him at the combine, and then I think we did host him on a 30-day visit where I spent the whole day with him. And at that time, being the coordinator, I believe, I just know I wasn't the special projects coordinator at that time. But spent the whole day with him up on the board, watching tape, just kind of getting to know each other and learning about him and his family, and just building a relationship. Because, I do think the relationship side of it is big, whether you end up coaching all these guys or not. I'm a fan of quarterbacks. I'm a fan of them attacking their quarterback journey, and very fortunate when I do get to be a part of it with the few guys that I get to work with. So, yeah.
How much do you go back to those things when you, in this kind of situation, when you meet a quarterback that's in the draft that you don't end up drafting that you may work with someday? How much do you refer back to those draft meetings to kind of form an impression on somebody?
Yeah, I think it's all important. I think that's why, I always, make sure they understand, no matter the 6 or 7 guys we spent a lot of time with this past year or going back every year in my career, I always make sure I try to do those evaluations of what the film looks like and what they were asked to do, what tough circumstances did they overcome, where are there areas that maybe I personally think they can improve, and then it's about building the relationships with those guys so that they know how I do feel about the position and knowing how hard it is, the things that they're tasked to go out and do, and that, no matter whether I get to coach them or not, I'm going to be rooting for them. And, as long as they're just not playing us, specifically in a playoff game.
How about the confidence part of it for him when he goes through a tough season like this and coming off of? Where do you pick that up and try to say, hey, we know what you can be? How do you go about that? What happens?
Yeah, I think it's first and foremost just getting in, meeting your new teammates, understanding that we're very, very proud of our organization here. We're proud of the locker room that our players have built, the leadership of this team. I think hopefully he enjoys, being welcomed into that. And then from a quarterback standpoint, he's played a lot of football. I mean, over 70 career starts. I think the number is he's played a lot of football. So he's got a lot of things that, you can really look back on as real positive experience. I think all experience matters when you're attempting to do something as difficult as, being a starting quarterback at a high level in the NFL. All experience matters. But I do think that there's also a starting line here in a new place. We establish, some things that, hey, maybe he's got some things that he's really earmarked that he wants to work on. Well, I think we can find good ways to help him do that. And then there may be some things that myself or Josh or Grant determine, hey, this will be something. As you learn our system, as you learn the verbiage and formations and motions and all the things that will be new for you here in a totally, completely different system. There's going to be some things fundamentally, footwork, how we ask our quarterbacks to play that might be good things for him to start working on, knowing that, like I said, we feel really good about our quarterback room, feel great about Sam Darnold leading us to a 9-2 record. So there's really there's really no pressure on anyone other than let's just have a really good day, his first day. Figure out, where he needs to be for meetings, figure out where he goes to eat, spend time with his new teammates, and then we build on that the next day and the next day. And the football element and the quarterback element will for sure be a part of it. And it's something I look forward to.
That's Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell, and I would recommend to Danny Jones if he wants to find where to eat at the complex, just go, looks like the food's over there. That's all you need to do. It's complicated, the coach says. You got to find out where to go to the bathroom, how to get to your locker. Probably should have an escort, help him around. Not that kind of escort. I'm just talking about having somebody show him.
I don't think that's legal in Minnesota.
There's just someone show him around the locker room. We'll take a break, come back. Rock Talk with Brian Ogus next here on The Fan.
Head over to our contest page and register for your chance to win a pair of reserved seating passes for an early screening of the first 2 episodes of Star Wars Skeleton Crew. Plus a chance to be the grand prize winner of a $200 gift card. How cool is that? That's KFAN.com, keyword contest to enter.
Couple 13-14 past. I'm Common. He's Phil and Fuller, and we're excited and delighted to be joined on this Thanksgiving Day, Wednesday. Today's Thanksgiving. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving, and then Friday is Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Or Black Friday.
Black Friday. Megadeth. Karen Carpenter.
Well, I don't know that a lot of her shows were probably promoted that way, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe in Finland somewhere.
It's good to have you here.
It's good to be here, man. It's I love coming in here, and I'm looking forward to overeating, and I'm looking forward to chilling out a little bit. I am going to be out working for both Black Friday and Small Business Saturday at the record store, and yeah, so it's good, man.
Want to start with this today?
Hit me.
I think I'm done with the Country Music Association.
And I mean, a lot of people hate all those big organizations. Is there a particular reason?
Two. First of all, I think Shabuzi got jobbed. I think Shabuzi should have won Best New Artist of the Year. I'm stunned Shabuzi didn't get it.
Yeah?
And I think it's a travesty.
What do you think? What do you think was Shabuzi's high watermark in 2024?
Tipsy, a bar song.
Tipsy. What is it?
I think it's called Tipsy, a bar song.
Tipsy, a bar song. Is
So
my
someone
favorite.
who is promoting the late night drunken
Yeah.
lifestyle, you think is the one who should have been the cream of the crop.
Mostly I just like saying Shabuzi.
Really, I've never heard any of those other kind of words come out of you.
Here is where I really am disappointed. Are you familiar with Paul Franklin?
I need a little context.
Paul Franklin is a 32-time nominee for Musician of the Year at the Country Music Association Awards. He's 0 for 33 now.
Which,
Or 0 for
again,
32.
that's Susan Lucci-like right
That's
there when she was
exactly
doing
right.
daytime Emmys. Let me ask you this. When's the last time you listened to country music?
Week ago.
Like Shabuzi style?
No. I go back. I have my playlist that my phone knows I like. I listen to Barbara Mangel and George Jones. I was country when country wasn't cool. Little Ronnie Millsap.
Oh, yeah.
Little The Gentle Giant, Donnie Williams.
I mean, how far back are we going? Are we going?
Conway Twitty.
So I listen to Conway Twitty. One of the best Conway Twitty songs of all time is It's Only Make Believe. Brilliant piece of work.
If anybody out there needs 5 minutes away of laughter from whatever it is you're doing to kill the final minutes of the rest of this short week, go look up a picture of Conway Twitty in his peak. Mm-hmm. That hair, man. I mean, that took longer to get ready for a show than it did to rehearse for the entire show.
He was trying to be Elvis.
Yeah.
Everybody was. And he was better younger than he was older. When he first burst onto the scene, he was pretty cool. He really was, if you like country music.
And I like some of it. Others,
I do too.
We get to a certain era, and I'm kind of out. I mean, I like latter era Merle Haggard. I like, and if you go back a ways, why can't I think of his name? I can see his face right there. I'm a picking and I'm a grinning. Buck Owens and Roy
Clark.
Thank you very much.
From Hee Haw.
Exactly. Now, that was when they had both achieved this pinnacle of success where we got to give these guys a TV show, and it was another, back then, variety shows were the thing.
There were competing ones. Hee Haw was the crackpot conservative version of a variety show, and Laugh-In was the liberal version. It's absolutely true.
Oh, absolutely. But, you had your Carol Burnett's and everything else.
And those two shows, but I mean, those two shows were identical. The Carol Burnett show was a little different. They had just the regular, the Hee Haw would do sketches, and they would have the same group of people on all the time. Same with Laugh-In. One was just Hollywood people, and the other were country and Western people.
Right.
You had Nashville competing against Los Angeles, and they were both really good shows.
Coastal Beef?
Coastal Beef. The Musician of the Year, he's a 32-time nominee, okay? Mm-hmm. It's what it says. Franklin is indisputably among the best, it's for instrumentalists. Franklin has lent his steel pedal guitar to thousands of recordings. In country music alone, his credits include hundreds of albums, including with Kenny Rogers, Shania Twain, Willie Nelson, Randy Travis. You recognize any of these names?
Every one of them.
Trisha Yearwood, Carrie Underwood, Rascal Flatts, and a twinkling star named Taylor Swift. Outside the genre, he's played with Barbra Streisand, Lionel Richie, Etta James, Toni Braxton, Sting, and I'm not making it up, Megadeth.
Come on, really?
Born in 1954, Detroit, the musician was still in grade school when he started playing professionally. Here's what he said in the story. I think I played my first bar at 10 years old.
Wow.
At the time, Franklin observed Detroit. He was from Detroit.
So he was a prodigy, too.
Yeah,
he was good when he was young.
He said, he goes, at the time, Franklin observed Detroit was filled with people like his parents, white workers from Kentucky and Tennessee drawn to jobs in the car factories. Alcohol and country music go together, so there were a lot of bars to play at.
Exactly. People have spent the hard day working.
How does he not win? So you're going to tell me in all those 32 years, they couldn't have just said, and I'm not one for throwing a guy a bone.
Yeah.
But I'm for throwing a guy a bone. It's like, my gosh, give him over 32 years, wouldn't it, especially when you look at those people he's playing with, those people selected him. He doesn't select him. He doesn't call up Shania Twain and go, hey, can I play your next album? They go, we need a steel guitar player.
Yeah.
He's the best. Hey, can you come and play? How does he not win one time?
That's like going to see a medical specialist, I mean, it's when you're looking for the best of the best, you find it. And I don't know. I don't know enough about his story. I don't know enough about his personality or his attitude. I'm going to go home and check it out, though.
He appeared on Hee Haw. with Barbara Mandrell.
Of course he did.
I am done with the Country Music Association.
I had no idea you'd been so deeply invested before, and I'm sure they're going to miss your...
I'm not going to the Grand Ole Opry anymore.
Have you ever been?
No, never have.
Okay. Oh, Max, this is what it's like, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, he played the Pedabro.
Spell it?
Pedabro.
Yeah, smarter people
It's
than
a steel player innovated by his father.
Okay.
He played on the. If you remember Randy Travis and Forever and Ever, Amen.
Nope.
Oh, legendary! I played it back when I was spinning hot stacks of wax top of the head. It's just like how
I don't know, man. I mean, that's a long run. Usually, in most other blank music associations or whatever, you start to get to the Lifetime Achievement Award or the Industry Achievement Award, right? And I don't think most people have to wait 30 years for that to happen. I guess some people have to wait till after they're dead, but not with that kind of legacy and not with that many hits on the, I mean, like...
You know who Vince Gill is, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Vince Gill now plays with the Eagles.
Really?
Yes. Vince Gill was also with Pure Prairie League.
Uh-huh.
Vince Gill is married to Amy Grant, legendary Christian singer. Here's what he said about Paul. The great thing about Paul is even though he's his own stylist in definitive playing, he's got the history in his heart. That's the most important place. That he knows what Ralph Mooney played like. He knows what Buddy Emmons played like. He knows all these greats that were such a huge part of this history that gives him a vocabulary that's deeper than anybody I've ever known that's played the instrument.
So you tell me, what is your speculation? Why would somebody that good, that highly regarded, that well-known, and clearly that talented over the course of that many nominations in 30 years?
I don't know.
I haven't heard anyone say anything negative about him.
I'm dumbfounded.
Yeah. Then another
He was blackballed. You hit it right with the Susan Lucci. She finally did win. Or did they just give her a honorary one? Or did she actually finally win it? I think they finally gave her Best Actress in a Daytime Emmy Award.
It's certainly possible. At some point you just want people to shut up, and it depends on who's doing the voting. And I guess that's my other question with the Country Music Association. Who is doing the voting? I mean, maybe somebody one day, heard him say something around the corner and is like, I hate that dude, and I'm going to block
that would be it. But
I'm dumbfounded. I have no idea, especially with someone with those accolades.
Mojo Magazine named Jack White's No Name album the album of the year.
Wow.
He is returning to the Palace Theater in April 2025. Does Oak have any thoughts?
Oh, yeah. I'll be going to that.
Jack White.
Yeah.
Do you know the No Name album?
I have not spent any time with it, unfortunately. Right. It's been a little busy around my neck of the woods, but I do know this. As a prelude to the Springs tour, he's doing a handful of pop-up shows, one of which was very recently in the First Avenue main room. And it was apparently face-melting. It was apparently really, really good. And I haven't listened much to No Name, so I can't say that it was the best or the worst. I'm going to be honest. I had a crazy year, and I've probably listened to less music or new releases, even working at a record store, because we kind of like to go into the archives.
Have you listened to Shabuzi? You'll get your chance tomorrow. Shabuzi's doing the halftime show at the Lions game tomorrow. Shabuzi.
What order do the games go in tomorrow?
Lions first. Lions at Bears, followed by...
What time?
Packers, Giants, 11:30.
Cowboys, Giants.
Cowboys, Giants, that's it. Cowboys, Giants, then Packers, Dolphins at the evening game.
Lucci did win in 1999, by the way, after her 19th nomination.
Yeah, 19 losses. So 19 losses in a row?
Yeah.
Paul Franklin, 33 now.
Right. You're looking at me like you want answers, and I know you do want answers. I do not have your answers, Mr.
Are you familiar? You know what maybe my favorite country song of all time is? Conway Twitty and Loretta Lynn did a song called You're the Reason Our Kids Are Ugly. Did you know that's the name of the song? Look it up. Look it up.
I think those two did a couple
of
duet albums together. Mine is all-time favorite. Mine would be they're both Loretta Lynn. One would be "Don't Come Home a Drinkin' with Lovin' on Your Mind."
Oh, yeah, that is
because that made it and turned into a hit. And I don't know who in Nashville was asleep at the switch because they were not putting out songs of women's empowerment at that point. Speaking of, the next one is "The Pill." I mean, they were certainly not putting songs out like that. And she was such a force that they both got out there. And, you know, I don't know that we can say that it made generational cultural impact in that community, but these were things that people were not singing about then.
For me, well, we've talked about this song, I think, before. It not only was a country hit, but it was also a crossover hit that was on top 40 in adult contemporary. "Ode to Billy Joe" by
Bobby Gentry.
By Bobby Gentry.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about the song, though, I've listened to it hundreds of times, and I don't think, after listening to the lyrics, I don't think anybody owed Billy Joe anything. Such a great line.
Doesn't end. Well, and also,
I don't think anybody owed Billy Joe anything. Why do they call it "Ode to Billy Joe"?
No, we heard the joke the first time. The thing about that song, that's one of those old sort of gothic storytelling songs right there. You know, like the night the lights went out in Georgia. But this one in particular, that groovy, just smooth guitar that's going on the whole time. And then they drop in, like, in that last chorus, one little hint that maybe he didn't jump.
She wore, well, then the speculation has gone on for years that they aborted a baby and dumped it into the river. She's never, you can't talk. She's not talked to the media. She disappeared. She didn't even want to be a performer. She was strictly a writer, but couldn't find anybody to do the song "Ode to Billy Joe." She did an album with Glenn Campbell, Bobby Gentry. Lovely young lady, was a brilliant a writer. And then no one's heard from her, I think, in like 20 or 25 years. She's just become a recluse.
Okay.
But yeah, the song was it's simply brilliant. It's haunting. And it's just the way it's done, where she's narrating conversations during the song as, you know,
well, they're sitting around the dinner table when it kicks off.
Please. Yeah, exactly. They come in, be sure to wipe your feet off. I could do it if the song's playing. I know every lyric, but it's simply brilliant.
Why don't we play?
Are you, we could play, then we just have to dump this segment. We can do it anytime. We just don't have to have this. Well, as a matter of fact, we could just dump this segment because I want you to play a song from Max. We just won't include this in the podcast, or you can clip this one out. Can you do this?
If you guys don't talk over it.
Yeah, we won't talk over it. Okay. I want you to, are you familiar with Donna Fargo?
Well, I think he said dump the segment, right? Not just the bit of music.
I don't think Abbott would want us to get rid of the entire segment.
No, so what we'll do is we're going to start the song.
I won't say a word.
And then we won't say a word. I want you to play Donna Fargo, "Happiest Girl in the Whole USA."
Got you.
I played it for Swedberg the other day. He wanted to throw up.
Not everybody likes everything.
Are you ready? Do you have it is it in the system?
I'm waiting for an ad to load up right now.
It's called "Happiest Girl in the Whole USA," 1972. It went #1 on the country music charts.
All right, I got it.
Here it is. The happiest. How beautiful is that song? Two people in love. They're going to make each other's lunches. Kiss the happiest girl in the whole USA.
Isn't it easier if just one person makes two lunches, as opposed to you standing there trying to each do the different thing?
You don't understand love, then. How good is that song?
I understand love. Let's do this. It's kind of like.
It's good, isn't it?
That was a banger.
That's so good.
That's a banger right there.
Max, I agree.
In the innocence
I heard it there. Do you think you need to hear it again in an hour and a half?
Definitely not.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean,
maybe not even a year and a half, but it was a banger.
I'm not mad at that song at all. If it came on, I'd be like, I'll give this a listen. Yeah, no, and there's a zillion songs like that. Because, there was a very small circle of topics and, cultural mores that women were allowed to sing about back then.
You were in the Drake camp or the Kendrick Lamar camp?
I'm not really in either camp. I'm going to say something that I'm worried is really going to offend my friend Max.
Oh, no.
I don't like Drake.
Oh, that's fine.
I don't like his attitude.
He's on Kendrick's side.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm a Drake guy.
I've sort of, over the last year, this calendar year, I've flipped on Drake. I've been hey, he's not that bad kind of guy. And as obviously his past discography, he's made some bangers. He's one of the most successful rappers of all time, and you can't really argue that. But Drake, the person, I've completely soured on Drake the human being over the last year or so, especially
what's their beef right now? They're a diss song, right?
Well, several. Well, Drake and Kendrick have been throwing little pot shots, subtle little hidden shots at each other on songs for years.
A decade, by the way.
Yeah,
a decade is when this started.
It was a long time ago. And finally, Drake just came out with a direct Kendrick Lamar diss. He came out with 2 back-to-back, actually, and he was kind of goading him like, hey, you're not saying anything. Where are you at? You're scared. And then Kendrick Lamar dropped 4 back-to-back diss songs that absolutely, I mean, it'll impact. Drake will never be looked at the same again.
I have an idea and a suggestion. Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, you saw the interest that garnered?
Yeah.
How about Drake and Kendrick go at it inside the confines of the 4-ring post? They give them the 14-ounce, 16-ounce gloves, 2-minute rounds.
Oh, it'd be amazing.
I mean, are they physically about the same as far as height, weight?
Drake is a lot bigger than Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar's kind of a smaller stature dude, but I think
he has to get to the inside like Smoke and Joe and
exactly.
kill the body and the head will die. Get in close.
Peekaboo style, yeah.
Get that Kenny Norton crab thing going.
Throw some jabs, get inside a little bit, rough them up.
I'd pay for that.
Oh, absolutely.
I'd pay for Kendrick Lamar versus Drake.
In a freestyle rap battle, Kendrick would leave Drake crying on the floor. Yes, absolutely.
He did even in a written rap battle. I mean, it's Not Like Us is not only the hip hop song of the year, if not just the song of the year in general, but it is a devastating diss song that now Kendrick Lamar is going to be performing at the Super Bowl here in a couple of months. Drake is having this is maybe the biggest L, forget rap beef, the biggest L anyone has ever taken in a public spat ever. And people have been assassinated before.
Yeah, well, the one last thing I want to throw in, knowing as little as I do, these two didn't invent rap battles or disses or, but at least no one's been shot.
Yes,
that's the positive part, right? No, so far, but we'll see what happens.
Drake would have been better off firing some shots because he's suing Kendrick Lamar now, and now even the most adamant Drake defenders are like, bruh, you can't sue someone over rap beef.
That is my final point, is that, there have been these things going on all the time and no one's getting killed. So you get ripped on, they get ripped on, you get ripped on. Sometimes it's a glancing blow. Sometimes it's an absolute knockout punch. But what I hate about it is at its core, the thing I don't like about Drake every time I see him or his personality comes out somewhere is, Dad, did you hear what he said about me, Dad? You have to go over and punch him in the nose, Dad. And it's just so Canadian.
I'll leave you with this. It says, comment, you don't have to like the Country Music Association, but you have to respect it. And I think he's right. I do respect it.
Do you respect the Grammys?
Nah, not really. Let me ask you a question.
Oh, hit me.
You, this isn't the only place you appear to talk music. You have a podcast.
I do, actually, usually twice a week. I was out of commission last week, but I'm back, and we're going to just take the end of the week off, so only one this week. It's called The Brian Oak Show, now up over 440 episodes, and you can find it on some of the regular places that you get podcasts, but most importantly, the iHeartRadio app.
Deuce, you have a podcast, Studio 313, I think it's called.
You better believe I got a podcast called Studio 313 podcast, also available on iHeart and wherever you get your podcasts.
Very good. Deuce will be joining Mark Rosen next. Thanks so much for coming in, my friend. And,
I wish you both a very happy Thanksgiving. Max, excellent to see your face again.
Good to see you again, my friend.
Yeah, it was. You guys had a very warm embrace. You guys hadn't seen each other in a while.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. So thanks very much. We'll be back. Mark Rosen joins us next here on The Fan.